Good morning, guys. Please get sharing. 10 o'clock Sunday morning. Dolly is like firing. Dorothy is firing at the churchgoers. A particular case, Dorothy's case, to do with under fives. Like, she went to the church trying to get them to help her, and they didn't. Not a lot of people have helped her. She had an interview with Nick Buckley. Obviously, I've been working with her for over a year. Been to several council meetings with her, with chief executives, heads of certain departments, trying to get her issues sorted out. And we haven't. Now, it's just before election, and everyone's trying to help her just before election. The thing was, guys, I've been supporting Dorothy for over a year. She doesn't live in Hollingwood, but she's an Oldham resident. I was supporting Dolly before I ran as a councillor, so more than a year, but 3 years. So I was supporting Dolly from day one, even before I ran in elections in Hollingwood. She's just there with the red top on. And so I've been supporting her from then. We've been to solicitors, with Citizens Advice Bureau. I've had meetings in the council with chief executives, senior council members. We've done all that. Now, a particular case, I'm nothing to do with the law, mate. I haven't got that kind of experience, but we are getting support off various people. Bernie G, thank you. He supported us. We've got some support in Leeds, and we're trying to work on a case. But we're at Oldham Parish Church, so everyone's jumping on to help Dorothy now. Why haven't they helped her before? And we just said that together, me and Dorothy. We had she had an interview with Nick Buckley about 6-7 months ago when he heard her story. I've been supporting her. A couple of other people. Peter supports her. Peter Brown, Steve as well, and a couple of other people. But right now, everyone's throwing a bit of support to her. It's been a case is quite long and quite complicated. So they could have done it before. But yes, we're in Oldham. Thank you for tuning in. John Lawrence, National Housing Party leader and candidate for Hollingwood in Oldham. You know, against the church, you know, I don't know why they're so pro-LGBT. Just don't fall into my category. I'm not a practicing Christian, but I got brought up with Christian morals and values. And I think they are woke on that side. Did they do enough for the community? Yeah, but did he stand up for the community? No, because they're politically motivated. The Labour Party have a lot of control over the council, and our council leaders anyway don't care about Christianity, so it's thrown under the bus. The majority of our council, they just support one thing. They're not for everybody. We know there's a load of gangsters in the council. We know that. Links, Root Shah's got links to to Irish Immy, who was a getaway driver for Dale Cregan in one of his escapades, and a lot of shady links. The council are politically correct as well, because all they do is shout racist. Now, when somebody pointed out about LGBT to the council, one of the councillors turned around and said, "Oh, you can't say that. That's the R word." That's how they and nobody says nothing to them. But now, if I was a council leader and I'd said something that like that, then I would be under the spotlight. But it doesn't work both ways. That's what winds me up about Oldham, is that, like, we're not treated equally. Some people get a free pass for whatever reason. Some people get a free pass because they tick boxes, and you all understand what ticking boxes means. So yeah, so I've been trying to support Dolly even before I was a running candidate in the council. So you can't say that I'm just ignoring people in my area, which I'm not. I've supported people with issues, with other issues, such as Avro Football Club. I've been to a meeting with them. We brought up some points about noise, antisocial behaviour. I've supported people to get homes from Hollingwood, people who've lived down there, have had families. And I've also supported people with issues at the council who were living Hollingwood. And one of them was a debt written off because the council didn't follow procedure and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so that's what I've been doing past couple of years. We've had several council meetings, so I've met several people within the council, several senior people in positions such as adult social care, chief executives, personal assistants to various people, and trying to get along, trying to sort out issues that we've got. Obviously, Peter's got a few issues. Again, same with Peter. Even before I ran as a candidate, I was supporting Peter. He had an issue. Well, they should do more to help the local community. Peter's talking to a member of the public. They don't like us putting banners outside here, but the Church of England has failed its flock. The political directives run by Labour or Tories or whatever, and the wokeness of the church, they haven't stood up for people within the community. Simple as, and no one's going to tell me anything different. 160 on, we've got a good viewing. Got some good viewing on, Peter. Got some good viewing here. He's getting his megaphone out. Now, you know, like I said, but I believe that the church can be part of the community. It used to be. But we need to get our church back. Let it stop being politically motivated and concentrate on looking after people within the community rather than everything else. I'm not going to not do that. I don't go to church regular, but I've visited. I've lived in Oldham, and I've been to practically every church around Oldham, major church, one way or another. The church isn't an alien place. I've been a godfather 3 times, so that's 3 times in the church. Weddings, funerals, and stuff like that, and it's our central place to meet and stuff like that. So yeah, it is a big thing with me. I was also went to Sunday school and also was in the Bible Brigade for a few years. So churches and Church of England is part of my life, and it's made me the person I am today with the morals that I've been taught from Christianity. I don't think I'm particularly extreme or anything. I'm not a wholly angry person. I don't believe that we should be solving everything with war. I don't believe it. And
ready, John?
Yeah, when you're ready.
I can't believe the absolute disgust from some of the so-called holier than holy parishioners that are coming out, going into this church and condemning us for holding the Church of England to account, covering up child paedophilia. Is that what it was? Child paedophilia, protecting and covering up child paedophilia clergy, and yet we are condemned. We're no more.
Get sharing, get some comments in, please. Come on, guys.
From this church, sat with the highly paid council officers in covering up child paedophilia. Absolutely scandalous. The church has brought it on itself. The Archdeacon of Rochdale, then, now retired, David Sharples, we had 4 meetings with him, who stated he could not address this issue on his own, and he was thrown under the bus by the Bishop of Manchester. If you want to see and hear some of the biggest hypocrites going to any church, just look at the parishioners. We asked in a polite manner to address after a Sunday service to let people know why protesters were outside the Church of England church. We were denied it. We were denied that fact that we wanted to let parishioners know why protesters were outside the Church of England church. But the foul abuse the parishioners are giving us, let me remind you, we did not cover up any child paedophilia like the Church of England and other religious bodies did. You've covered up child paedophilia.
And he said, other religions, we have a big Islamic religion in Oldham, and they've covered up the mosques, and that have covered up that they've known that paedophiles have had paedophile imams convicted from mosques in Oldham, and other high-standing senior people within minority communities have all been arrested, charged, and convicted of child sexual exploitation. We've had at least one imam. Several high-profile people. One of them, some years ago, was running to be mayor of Oldham, convicted child sexual exploitation, and that links to a particular case I'm just working on now, and I soon will be putting that guy's name out and talking about him, and I'm going to ask people, is it acceptable, you know what I mean, or anything like that. And I think that he got away with it for a while for political correctness, but that's up and coming, guys. That's up and coming. Big John don't do nothing by halves. You'll know that already. Watch my feeds next week. A lot of interesting stuff coming next week. I'll be live streaming in Oldham around 10 p.m. on voting day. So watch out for my live stream. Big Johnny at National Housing Pie. Please share my stream. Get commenting if you're in Twitter. Follow our links, please. John Lawrence National Housing Pie, and I'm outside Oldham Parish Church with the exceptional and legendary Peter Brown. Peter, how are you today? How are you?
I'm grand, and it just makes this more and more needed when you've got parishioners slagging us off when we didn't cover up any child paedophilia. The Church of England and other churches covered up and protected their own clergy, and they have a cheek to condemn us. Whatever happened, happened, and they can't get away from it. And it's a dirty secret that they want washed and hidden away.
Yeah,
but can't do. It's still going on. But when a canon, no less than a canon, Gene Earlston, sat with those highly paid council officers, and 7 times we were denied a public inquiry. 7 times. She was the eyes and the ears to the bishop, the Canon Earlston. So I said to Daniel Burton, when I informed him, I've done nothing sneaky. Police have been informed. Daniel Burton, Canon, were informed about this protest. And I said, produce me with the letter stating that the Bishop of Manchester has wrote to all Oldham parish churches to say what he thought about the cover-up and our plea for a public inquiry. Seeing as Canon Earlston was the eyes and the ears to the bishop, was a letter to the congregation. Or have they swept that under the carpet? But shame on the parasitic hypocrisy of some of these so-called parishioners that want to cover up and carrying on covering up CSE in this town.
So do you think that they're just like puppets of like the council and they do what the council says? Is that the
It's
church?
part of the system.
Part of the system.
Part of the system where when they had to come clean, John, it's because it got leaked. They would have covered it up and they would have carried on covering up. But we asked politely to resolve it and let the congregation know why protesters were outside the church. We were denied it.
Yeah, have you had any meetings with the church people?
We've had 3 meetings with the Archdeacon. He's retired now, the Archdeacon of Rochdale, David Sharples, who stated that this issue was far too big for him alone. And yet the Bishop of Manchester has threw his own Archdeacon under the bus. Get on with it. Don't mind me. Well, it's just another cover-up. But to be slagged off by parishioners in a church of what low lives are attending now a so-called church, Church of England. There were paedophilia in the Catholic Church, the Church of England.
Well, every religion has got it smeared on it, hasn't it?
As hard as it is, John, we must call it out. Doesn't matter where it lives, whether it be in a church, a police station, a synagogue, a Catholic church.
So you went to them at first because of what had been going on in Oldham with the child sexual exploitation?
We went because we were disgusted by the Reverend Canon Jean Earlston, who sat with those highly paid officers and promoted a council, a Labour-run council, when politics should have been kept out. But in one of the letters to the Bishop of Manchester, David Walker, we asked him in his position in the House of Lords where he could get the government to look at Oldham Council. We never got the courtesy of a reply. They brought it on themselves. If they'd have helped us, eased our consciences, that we can start trusting clergy, policemen, doctors, councillors, everyone. That's what it wants. It's calling them out. We're in a culture of secrecy and cover-up, and they've only brought this safeguarding issue because they were caught.
Right, yeah.
It's same with anything. Keep it quiet. The worst thing the church ever did was cover up the child paedophilia. Did they not rely on the prayers and the forgiveness of their own parishioners to make their own decision up? Well, we forgive you. And that's what we're here for. We wanted to speak to the congregation, let them know why protesters are outside and make their own decision up. But we denied it. And we're getting slagged off by some of the parishioners. You shouldn't be out here. The clergy shouldn't have been CSEing, fiddling with kids. Scandalous. Scandalous, John. And when the Church of England and other churches are asking young people, you know, before they can get admittance to any school, have they been confirmed? Do they go to church regularly? You know, you have to prove that. Where's the letter from the Bishop of Manchester, the Right Reverend David Walker, to the parishioners of all the Church of England churches stating why protesters were there and why Canon Jean Earlston, in one of the biggest cover-ups, like the Rotherham and the Huddersfield and the Rochdale scandal, sits with the highly paid council officers? Surely the parishioners need to know what's going on.
Nick Wilson says good morning from Rochdale.
Good morning, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you very much. Anyone in the chat there? We're at Oldham Parish Church. This is a legendary Peter Brown. I've got a video of him in the European Union calling them out that they have boob jobs, is it? Cosmetic.
They were having perks for breast improvements.
Expenses, breast improvements, and he's in the European.
People starving, and then there's voice kicking off.
Yeah,
it's perks.
He's in the European Parliament telling them just that. in the European Parliament. Just saying anyway. But legendary Peter Brown. Thank you very much, Peter.
Thank you, John,
362 people watching.
Thank you, John.
There'll be a lot on X on here. So.
How disgusted that we're being slagged off by parishioners when we politely requested in a letter handed in to the Reverend Canon Daniel Burton to be able to speak to congregation and let them know why protesters are outside the church. I'm a practicing Christian and I am dissatisfied and absolutely disgusted with what the Catholic Church did. You can't let it go. You must hold them to account. And with Canon Earlston or any reverend spoke out, wanted to bless whatever they did, full council meetings, happy with it. But don't sit there promoting those corrupt councillors that God is on their side. It's a damn disgrace.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, mate. Legendary Peter Brown there, guys. If half of us did as much as Peter, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in. We wouldn't be. I'm telling you. Letters, everything done correctly by the right procedures. That's Peter. That is Peter. I've never heard him swear. I've never heard him swear or anything like that when he's talking to anyone. And if he is going to say a rude word, he has permission first. That's Peter. Go on, Peter. Are you getting on?
There's letters here. They were handed out in March this year when we did a protest. Nothing's altered. They want to keep it quiet. They want to brush it under the carpet. But this is a letter that the Archdeacon of Rochdale wrote on our behalf to the Bishop of Manchester, David Walker. And the Bishop of Manchester threw his own Archdeacon under the bus. The Archdeacon of Rochdale then, David Sharple, said it was too big of an issue for him alone to undertake. He pleaded, he had meetings with us, he felt sympathy for our pleas. The lady present got sacked for whistleblowing for safeguarding under fights. We had no less than a canon, Jean Earlston, at this parish church, waiting for the new reverend to sit with those highly paid council officers while they denied us 7 times to have a public inquiry into CSE. She stood with them, with a gangster's mob who runs our town, council leader, and the millionaire who owns Oldham Athletic, when £1 million were given for a new football pitch and there's kids starving. Look at the destitution in this town. It's absolutely disgraceful what's going on. And for the parishioners who slag us off, we've gone through our proper channels to the church, to the Bishop's Court, where the Bishop of Manchester resides, to the Archdeacon of Rochdale, and you have got cheeky parishioners slagging us off, coming out with terminology that we don't want to be accused of. You take a damn good look at yourselves. It isn't the public here protesting, it is the churches who covered up the child paedophilia clergy.
Church of England, why do you fail your flock? Have you brought them bricks with you? Did you bring them bricks with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, what, you actually brought them in your bag?
Yeah. But still the fruit in them.
Oh,
Still, there's loads of them on there.
right. Thank you very much. 400 odd watching. A lot of you will be on X. My name's John Lawrence, leader of the National Housing Party United Kingdom. We're outside Oldham Parish Church today. obviously there's been a development. They are looking at doing another child sexual exploitation review. The Conservatives want it done. The Independents are up for it, and now that Labour have lost control of the council, they're willing to go ahead with it. So I'll say the letter to the bishop from Mr. Brown.
From the bishop to me. I'll read it out, John.
This letter was from the Bishop of Manchester directed to me, and it was the 16th of July 2023. And he stated, the Archdeacon David Sharples has been in contact with you with these matters, and I have nothing more to add to his response. Cover up again. For your interest, clergy are allowed to be involved in local politics. Well, where's the letter, Bishop of Manchester, to all the congregational C of E churches that your thoughts on the cover-up? 7 times we asked for this council to have a public inquiry into the cover-up of CSE. So, produce me now the letter from the clergy to the parishioners that the Archdeacon and the David Sharples, where Canon Earlston was the eyes and the ears to the Bishop of Manchester. Where's the letter, Bishop, to the congregation stating what the public outcry and the turning of the backs on Canon Earlston in disgust that the Church of England prayed for those council officers and councillors who covered up CSE. Now there is an inquiry. We hope it's going to be a public inquiry. But all those who covered it up are sacked, sent to prison, never to hold public office again. But for the parishioners who are slagging us off, how disgusting it is to protest outside the Church of England, do you think Christ? Come to me, little children, and paedophilia clergy were protected and abused, but if it hadn't been brought to light, how much longer would clergy have been able to get away with the paedophilia acts? And we are condemned. All we asked for was to speak after a church service why protesters were out, and read the letters from the Archdeacon of Rochdale, read the letters from the Bishop of Manchester, and let the congregation make their own minds. But we're being condemned without defence. And it doesn't matter where evil presides, whether it be in a police station, a church, a council office, barristers, solicitors. It doesn't matter where evil presides, it must be called out. As drastic as it may be, and as uncomfortable as it may be, it must be called out.
Thank you, Peter. Peter Brown there, the legendary Peter Brown, is exactly right. It's got to be called out. Silence is no good. Let the congregation deal with it. Peter's written letters to the church, to the deacons, to the canons. He's written letters to them all, and to say that, you know, he wants accountability, and they don't defend us. They go in the council meetings and don't say anything. It's see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, and that's what it is in the council. If they showed that they was accountable and they would defend what we are saying, then we might be more okay with them. But they don't, and it's not just in Oldham. It happens all over the country. No one listens. That Justin Welby, nobody listens. He doesn't listen to anyone. He doesn't listen to his flock. He just goes around with a woke Marxist ideology thing. That's what he goes around with, you know, and he doesn't listen to the people. And there's been protests against him. So we're outside Oldham Parish Church. You can say what you want. This is my town. It's my church. I've been to it many times and all that. You can say what you want, but we are right in what we're saying. And both Dorothy and Peter have tried to go through the church for them to support them, and they don't. Because they're politically run, you know what I mean? They just do what the council says. We just got to work together and be politically correct, not say this, not upset this person, not upset that person. So what they like, that's the council, that's the church. Unfortunately, political correctness is a deep stain going through everything. The police can be politically correct, so can the church. But obviously, we're the politically incorrect people here, because we're saying it and people don't want to hear it. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. I've got to go soon, Peter. Got to go soon, yeah.
That's all right, John. Thank you so much.
We've got 468, and a lot of them will be on X, on Twitter. So it's good that, because it's really political at the moment.
Right.
So you get some good viewing there. So John Lawrence, National Housing Party, Oldham Parish Church, decline of our churches and that in the UK, they've gone woke. The people don't want to go to them because they are woke. People don't want to go to church now because it's not the same. And the churches are politically driven. Now, they shouldn't have any particular set in law because we're in a secular country, but our faith and morals come through the church, and I think they are good for communities. But, you know, we've got to stop being woke. You've got to stick up for the communities. They're just doing what the Labour Party and the Tories and the government say they're doing. You know what I mean? They've pushed policy into our churches that a lot of people don't like, so it's turning them away. We don't like this woke ideology. I've took pictures of this church with a rainbow flag on top of it. You know what I mean? And the thing is, no one says anything to other religions. Nobody says anything. No one says anything to Islam when they don't fly the rainbow flag, and they won't have any of that in their church. No one says anything to them, but Christianity is different. Christianity is under attack. We know it is. Breakup of the family unit is a big thing, and it started with our churches, and it started with Christianity, and it's despised when other religions aren't. Go on.
This letter was I wrote direct to the Right Reverend David Walker, the Bishop of Manchester. It was on the 16th of the 7th, 2023. And it says, Dear Right Reverend David Walker, it has been several months since the Archdeacon David Sharples contacted you and myself regarding serious issues from the public gallery, from the public of Oldham in relation to Canon Jean Earlston. Your eyes and ears, I believe, at council matters. Will you now please reply to me so I can forward your reply to the people of Oldham who have been waiting for months on this issue stated in your letters? You have received a waiting for your answers to our questions. It is, in my opinion, and residents of Oldham, that is shameful that the Church of England allows your clergy to be involved in local politics, such as the goings on in Oldham regarding the cover-up of CSE, whilst the residents of Oldham are gagged and refused entry for speaking out to obtain the truth.
Without the megaphone, John.
Probably, yeah.
We ask that you speak to Archdeacon David Sharples, as you seem to be placing this issue and others at his feet alone for him to try and resolve. He has stated he cannot do this on his own. And the Archdeacon David Sharples, now retired, is also aware of Dorothy Lloydie sacked for whistleblowing for protection of under fives. The shameful bullying of staff at Crompton House, causing one lady to threaten to take her own life. This is a Church of England school where a school governor, chair at governors, who was then a Lib Dem councillor, covered up his child paedophilia mate, Rob Blythe, who's now on the child sex offenders register,
Rob Blythe, ex-Liberal Democrat Oldham.
without declaring a conflict of interest. He also was a school governor. We, the people of Oldham, asked, where did Rob Blythe govern at the schools? We never got to know. But for the Crumpton House to have an ex-policeman, ex-councillor, chair of the school governors, who didn't declare a conflict of interest against his mate when I made a standards complaint. No, if this what we've got in our schools needs to be called out. All these issues are not going to go away. They must be addressed. Please read the letters you have been sent, Bishop. And if you request a meeting, we'll be happy to attend. We request answers, truth, and action from the Church of England. And this was also copied in to the Archdeacon David Sharples.
So Rob Blythe, while he had that conviction, he was on the school governor's board, or governor of a school, or on the school board
Well, he
in the
knew what he
council.
was doing. He were on the schools. It were only like the Church of England. They only say sorry when they've been caught out.
Yeah.
But they would allow this cover up to continue.
And his mate, who were his mate? Is it another councillor? You said was his mate who didn't say anything.
Christopher Gloucester, as
Christopher
far as I
Gloucester.
know, he's still a chair of the school governors
Right.
at Crumpton House.
Right.
But here's a letter that I requested the last time. It was Mother's Day when we were outside here. And this is how the church is. We're outside here doing what we're doing now. We've wrote letters. They've tried to cover it up. We're not happy with the answers. We asked to speak to the congregation because some slagged us off like others. Well, let this ring in your ears, congregation. Some of you are damn hypocrites, and you don't want to hear the truth. You want to cover up the truth. So, like the ringing of the bells, let this ring in your ears, congregation that are hypocrites. We asked politely to speak so you all knew what were going on and why protesters. But no, you've been brainwashed. We did not cover up any child paedophilia. We didn't do it. We're trying to open it up. The Church of England covered up and protected the child paedophilia clergy. The Catholic Church also did the same. But this was to Daniel Burton, the Reverend Daniel Burton, and this was 14th of the 3rd. This was March, beginning of this year. Dear Daniel, may I politely request that both myself and Dorothy Lloydie be invited to speak after a Sunday service regarding why a group of people were protesting outside Oldham Parish Church on Sunday, the 10th of the 3rd, 24. It was Mother's Day. And we had to knock on the door when a gentleman wanted to deliver flowers to be handed out to mothers, and they'd lock the door. Who on earth do you think you are? We've done nothing wrong, and yet we're treated like criminals. I don't think that the parishioners and those present were fully aware of why this has happened. And this would be a way forward to stop further protests. So had they'd have accepted, we want to be here. But no, go away. We're powerful. We're far powerful than you. We are the Church of England, and we protect our own clergy, no matter what they do, until they're brought to light by the news media. I hope you have been contacted by David Sharples, then the Archdeacon of Rochdale, on this matter. And I know Easter is coming very near, and also one of the most important dates in both the CNE and RC events. Please reply within 3 weeks of date of this letter or phone me. Well, we got the reply, and the reply was the 9th of April. I have now reviewed the correspondence between the Archdeacon of Rochdale and the Bishop of Manchester, and also between the Bishop of Manchester and yourself regarding this matter. I have now also been able to meet with the parochial church council, and we have considered your request to speak to our congregation after Sunday service, and it was unanimously agreed that this would not be appropriate due to the following reasons. This is an historic matter which we consider was dealt with by the Archdeacon of Rochdale when he met with you on the 21st of February 23. No, it's not historic. They're holding a public inquiry or an inquiry because we've demanded it. So it's not historic. Get your facts right, please. The diocese considers that this matter was closed at this point. Well, let me clarify. Were you cloth-eared, some of your congregation, your hypocrisy, you're slagging us off? The Archdeacon of Rochdale then, David Sharple, said it was too big of an issue in him alone, and he got no help. He was thrown under the bus by his own bishop. Thrown under the bus. Now, had we been able to speak, instead of you twisting words, your congregation would have had the full facts. I myself would have never believed that I'd be standing protesting outside a church. But in my religion, the Roman Catholic, I said to my parish priest, the most disgusting, despicable thing that the Catholic Church ever did was covered up and protect paedophilia priests. And when you Google it, the Pope at that time wrote to all the bishops, the clergy, the priests, and said, anyone speaks out about this matter will be excommunicated. Silence once again. You don't want to know the truth. I can concur with the judgment, and I'm puzzled why you choose to demonstrate over 1 year about a matter which was settled 13 months earlier. Words again. It wasn't settled. The Archdeacon couldn't get any help. He was thrown under the bus. That's the truth, folks. It wasn't settled. Both the Archdeacon and the Bishop of Manchester have made clear their support for Canon Earlston. Cover up again. One of your own. Protect the clergy. No matter what they've done, protect the clergy. And you're doing a fantastic job, Church of England, by not allowing the truth to come out so you can brainwash your parishioners. You have suggested that there was some difference in their attitudes to this matter. But this is not the case, and they have one mind. Just after the Easter services before he retired.
I'm all right. I don't want one, mate. Yeah. I've got to go. Get back to mum.
Just after the Easter celebrations, when David Sharples, the Archdeacon of Rochdale, then retired, he concluded again. It was too big of an issue. Who's lying? Who's lying here? Is it the bishop, the Archdeacon, Canon Earlston, Canon Burton? Who's lying here? It needs to be called out, John. People are going to church and they're being brainwashed.
Oh, over 500 people viewing it, saying
Canon Earlston explained to the PCC the reason for your dissatisfaction with her role when she was chaplain to the mayor, when she offered prayers to the council chamber. And it seems most peculiar to us that you should choose target the chaplain when you have a disagreement with elected council officers. We have a disagreement with the church. It proves it. We're here now. We had a disagreement with a Canon Jean Earlston why she didn't say her prayers and leave. She chose to stay. The Archdeacon said she stayed because she was the eyes and the ears to the bishop. So I'm asking whoever sees this, were the parishioners in any Church of England church in Oldham sent a letter regarding our demand for a public inquiry, did the Bishop of Manchester take action with what the Canon Earlston saw? Because it must have gone to you, Bishop of Manchester. Did you send letters out that the public gallery showed disgust and demanded, and were refused 7 times a public inquiry? You know, this is it. The way it works. The chaplain's role in this is with many to visit prisons, hospital, battlefields, industry, and is to ask for guidance from Almighty God. Why then did you, Church of England, cover up your child paedophilia? Couldn't you rely on your own prayers and accept what the prayers of the parishioners and your own prayers? Why did you cover it up? Why didn't you open it up and let the parishioners make their own judgment after they had had prayers to recite over this matter? So you have the cheek to say you ask guidance from Almighty God. You chose to cover it up. Is that what Almighty God told you to do? Cover up, threaten them, excommunicate?
Oh, Labour Party would have said that, wouldn't they? that's God in this town, Labour Party.
Prayer in any context does not imply agreement with the policies and politics of relevant institutions, and the purpose of the Almighty are always greater than the temporal and temporary concerns of our earthly institutions. You've slagged us off. Your parishioners have slagged us off. How do you not know on my name, Saint Feast Day, St. Peter, when I were baptized, I'm 70 now, when I were baptized, I never thought I'd have to stand out and call the religious churches. But you've shown yourselves up, you protected paedophilia, and you side with highly paid council officers to cover it up again. It could have stopped. The Reverend Canon Burton produced me a letter that was sent to all the parishioners of all the Church of England churches, stating what he knew through the eyes and the ears of Canon Jean Earlston, who sat with those highly paid council officers, and we've had to fight like hell to get an inquiry into the CSE. Where were you? We asked for your help, Bishop of Manchester. You never even give us the courtesy of a reply. You brought this on your own doorstep. But to be slagged off by your hypocritical clergy and your hypocritical parishioners who don't know the full facts. What would happen if one of their children had been molested? Would they be in our place? It's because nothing's happened. And we're making sure that nothing ever happens again. And we're here protecting every child, every parishioner's child, and you're condemning us and slagging us off. It says here, we believe that the Canon Earlston was doing the job she was appointed to do, and as such our full support. So once again, where is the letter to all the parishioners? What Canon Earlston saw, sent it to the bishop then should have sent it to all his clergy, stating what's going on in that civic centre. You're always welcome, it says here, to public worship at Oldham Parish Church as all residents. Why should I sit with the hypocrisy of the congregation here that slag us off when they don't want accountability, no matter where it lies? No matter where it lies.
Yeah,
and it says, you are not welcome to address the congregation about this matter. You're not welcome again. Let the parishioners decide. You're brainwashing them. What are you saying in there that we can't hear out here? It's a culture of secrecy again. And as they said, they had utmost faith in Canon Earlston. What's the click here? Did the Canon Earlston attend those full council meetings regarding CSE for you, the Church of England, to listen, to gain knowledge? Well, let's see how they go on. It's raising its ugly head. Let's see how they act upon this.
I've got to go.
Thank you, John.
Thank
As
you,
always.
Peter. Honestly,
Thank
that's
you
good.
so
That good
much.
recording. We've got a good lot of viewers on X, Twitter. Peter Brown, John Lawrence were at Oldham Parish Church this Sunday morning. And you've heard Peter. We've had a child sexual exploitation scandal, and the church hasn't done nothing. It hasn't done nothing, and obviously the church is guilty itself. You know, if they would have stood up and one of them bishops would have been in there demanding, siding with the people, the general public, that they want a child sexual exploitation review or inquiry, a proper one, then we wouldn't have to be here. But they didn't. They didn't. So that's why we're here. But thank you very much, everyone. John Lawrence, National Housing Park. Get into descriptions. Follow me YouTube, all my other channels. If you want to know more about our party, you can. There's loads of stuff there. Back to mums.
No, are you off on air?
No, not yet. But yeah, so thank you very much, everyone. Good Sunday morning. Thank you and goodbye.